When you think about mimicry in the animal kingdom, your mind probably goes straight to defense, right? Harmless little creatures trying to look tough to avoid being lunch. But it turns out, nature runs a much darker, much more twisted con game. A game where the hunter, not the hunted, is the one wearing the disguise.
In that classic phrase, a wolf in sheep's clothing pretty much nails it. Today, we're diving into the world of predators and parasites that have perfected the art of deception, not to survive, but to attack. It's a strategy that turns the very idea of trust into a weapon.
All right, so to really get our heads around how this deadly game works, we first need to get to know the key players on the field. Think of it like a three-player con. First, you've got the mimic. That's our imposter. Then there's the model, which is the creature or thing being copied. And finally, you have the dupe, the poor sucker who's the target of the whole deception. And the mimic's entire success hinges on one thing, completely fooling that dupe.
Okay, so let's start with the kind of mimicry most of us already know about. This is defensive mimicry, and it's all about not getting eaten. It's basically using your appearance as a shield.
And this really boils down to two main tactics, the bluff and the alliance. So on one hand, you've got Bayesian mimicry. This is a total bluff. A perfectly harmless hoverfly looks just like a stinging wasp, so birds leave it alone. On the other hand, there's Mullerian mimicry. This is more of a group effort. You have a bunch of actually dangerous species, like different bees and wasps, who all evolve the same black and yellow warning colors. It's like they're all wearing the same team jersey, so a predator only has to get stung once to learn, okay, avoid that pattern altogether.
But see the common thread here? In both of these cases, the end goal is exactly the same. Convince a predator that you are not a tasty meal. It's all about defense.
This is where the story gets really interesting. This is where we flip the script, and mimicry goes from being a shield to being a dagger.
So now we're entering a whole new world, the world of aggressive mimicry. This is where deception is a weapon, used to lure, to ambush, and to betray.
Honestly, this is one of the most brilliant plot twists in evolution. The predator isn't trying to hide. It's hiding in plain sight by pretending to be something totally harmless, something helpful, or maybe even something its prey desires.
Let me give you a perfect example of this. On coral reefs, you've got these little guys called cleaner wrasses. They run cleaning stations where bigger fish come to get parasites picked off. It's a system built entirely on trust. But then you have the saber-toothed blenny. This little monster has evolved to look exactly like the helpful cleaner wrasse. It even mimics its little welcome dance. So a big fish comes in, lets its guard down for a cleaning, and bam! The blenny darts in, rips off a piece of its fin, and is gone. Total betrayal.
And that's just one example. This strategy is definitely not a one-trick pony. Predators have evolved this incredible toolkit of different lures, traps, and ambushes. One of the most common tricks in the book? Just pretend to be your prey's next meal. It's a pretty deadly version of ringing the dinner bell.
And the ways they do this are just amazing. The alligator snapping turtle will sit perfectly still at the bottom of a river with its mouth wide open, just wiggling this little pink part of its tongue that looks exactly like a worm. Fish can't resist it. Way down in the deep sea, the anglerfish has its own built-in fishing rod with a glowing lure. And some spiders, get this, they decorate their webs with yellow patterns that look just like the nectar guides on flowers, tricking bees into flying right into the trap.
But okay, if you think mimicking food is devious, the deception can get even more personal. Some predators prey on something even more powerful than hunger, the drive to find a mate.
Some predators are true femmes fatales. The female Photos firefly, for example, is a master of this. She can actually mimic the specific flash patterns of other firefly species. So an unsuspecting male from a different species flashes his signal looking for love, she flashes the perfect come hither response, lures him in, and then eats him. Bola spiders do the same thing, but with chemistry. They produce the exact sex pheromone of a female moth, and hopeful males fly right to their doom.
So sometimes the trick isn't to look like a meal or a mate, but to just look like something that poses absolutely zero threat, something you can completely and utterly ignore.
This is a perfect example of hiding in plain sight. Imagine you're a squirrel. You know that turkey vultures are no big deal, they're just scavengers. Well, the zone-tailed hawk looks and flies just like a turkey vulture, so it'll join a group of them, soaring lazily overhead, and the prey on the ground just don't even give it a second look.
right up until the moment the hawk breaks formation and dives straight down for the kill.
But we've saved what is maybe the strangest, most mind-bending form of aggressive mimicry for last. This is where the ultimate goal isn't just to get close to your target, it's to actually be eaten by it.
Oh, you heard that right. For these parasites, being swallowed isn't death, it's delivery. It is the only way for them to get inside their host and complete their life cycle. It's absolutely wild. This right here might be one of the most insane deceptions in all of nature. The leucochloridium flatworm has to get from a snail into a bird. The problem? Birds don't really eat snails. So the parasite takes over. It grows these long, brightly colored, pulsating sacs that crawl up into the snail's eye stalks, making them look for all the world like fat, juicy, wriggling caterpillars. But that's not all. It then hijacks the snail's brain, forcing it to crawl out into the open, onto a leaf where it's impossible for a bird to miss. The bird swoops down, eats what it thinks is a caterpillar, and boom, mission accomplished for the parasite. So, from a harmless fly bluffing its way through the day, all the way to a parasite that literally turns its host into a zombie lure, mimicry shows us that in the brutal game of survival, deception is so much more than a tactic. It's a powerful engine of evolution, constantly shaping both the hunters and the hunted in this endless deadly dance. And it kind of makes you wonder, in any system really, where do you draw the line between a clever strategy and just straight up sabotage?